Greetings and salutations, horror movie fans, and my name is Gilbert Ybarra, and welcome back to the Attic Review. On today's episode of Tar, I want to talk about a movie that truly needs more love, and that is The Summer of '84. I admit I was late to watch this one, but this cautionary tale about who to trust in your neighborhood through the perspective of dorky teens is a fun yet terrifying watch. I'm going to break the movie down into the 3 acts as I saw them play out, what I liked about each part if I had any complaints, and how I felt about the movie overall. So without further ado, let's witness the farewell of innocence during the summer of '84. Like the title suggests, it is summertime in 1984, and Davey is a paranoid kid who doesn't trust the world much. Thankfully, he's got a neighbor for a cop named Wayne Mackey who helps to make the block feel safer, and he also has his ragtag group of friends who help to distract him from the dangers and conspiracies of the world. One evening, after a pretty cool nighttime game called Manhunt, which is played with all the neighborhood kids, Davey and his gang are at their club treehouse talking about gals and the local fox named Nikki who all the boys love when Davey becomes a total buzzkill. During the perverted chat, Davey brings up the fact that there's been an alarming number of dudes their age that have gone missing over the past decade. Despite another teen reported gone recently, Davey's friends Faraday, Woody, and Eats quickly dismiss his concerns as his usual nutty conspiracy talk, until there appears to be some truth in this one. For example, a few nights later, a news report confirms Davey's theory that, yes, there is in fact a serial killer in the area named the Cape May Slayer. Damn, that's a cool name. His theory gets deeper though when a missing kid alert on a milk carton looks to be the same kid that he saw at Officer Mackey's house a few nights ago when they were playing Manhunt. So now, Davey and the Wag Pack begin their Disturbia-like reconnaissance on the man with the badge. With Operation Mac Attack underway, the kids take hilarious notes on Mackey's every movement, and Davey and Nikki have an enchanting moment. But despite heavy reconnaissance, another teenager gets snatched up, and we end Act 1. Before Act 1 highlights, show some love and support to the channel by simply subscribing and clicking like on every video I've ever made. Alright, thank you so much. Now let's get into what's good about the first act. Act 1 like, oh, the music is absolutely gorgeous. I'm a sucker for 80s synth pop as it is, so this opening act stole my heart with the score and soundtrack. Another like, nay, another love is the characters and dialogue. Holy shit, I could not stop laughing and grinning, listening to these little idiots exchange insults and misguided information to one another. Don't be afraid to rewind it to catch it all. So far, it feels like a dark PG-13 atmosphere, and I mean that in a positive way because of the good energy of the boys mixed in with the spooky elements of what the hell is going on around them. Okay, I need to nerd out here. In one of the scenes where they're at the bowling alley, the crew is seen standing right in front of a broken down Polybius game. I flipped out immediately because, like Davey, I also enjoy a tasty conspiracy, and the tale of Polybius is a juicy one. Check it out, but be advised. Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the light energy so far, but the small glimpses of scary stuff that we saw made me greedy, and I wish that there's a little more danger lurking around just to keep us on our toes. But that's all I had to complain about. Let's get on to Act 2. It has been weeks, and although there's some sparks between Davey and Nikki flying around and some mild jump scares, any leads on Mackey have gone ice cold. One night, under the guise of their nightly manhunt game, they step up their game to audio surveillance and nearly get caught planting a walkie-talkie near Maggie's house so they can A, give us a heart attack in the moment, and B, find another way to keep tabs on old Wacky Mackey. Of course that scheme was going to backfire, as Mackey subtly lets Davey know that he's onto them, which speeds up the investigation, and what do you know? The Hardy Boys of the block feel that after all their nightmare-inducing detective work, they have enough evidence to present to Davey's parents. Whew. Good job, everybody. We got him. That shit did not work, as Davey's parents didn't believe a word, and then forced him to apologize to Mackey for spying on him and making the killer accusations. Now, Davey's summer's ruined, his friends and parents don't trust him or believe him anymore, and if Mackey is the killer, he better lock up tight, and we end Act 2. Act 2 like is the escalation of the fear. Even if some of the chases led to dead ends, it doesn't matter. They are having fun, making us jump, and toying with our anticipation of what or who is going to jump out at us. I love how Act 2 knew to step up its intensity because there are some memorable jump scares as well as some slight psychological torment thrown at Davey and us, especially during that walkie-talkie scene. This is the hopeless romantic in me. Act 2 love is the Davey-Nikki situation. Their scenes are so sweet, and what young man doesn't dream of getting the beautiful girl next door? It's just such a sweet part, man, but enough of that. Again, this is such a great shift of atmosphere. The clouds are coming in for this dark-ass ending. No issues with the second act, so let's get on to the third and final act of Summer of '84. As if Davey's credibility wasn't already shit, now the news reports that Officer Mackey has caught the killer and he's a hero. Suck on that one, Davey. But I'll give Davey some credit because he somehow convinces his doubtful friends for one last we ride together, we die together plan to show that Mackey is a false idol. This Hail Mary of a plan actually freaking works. After daring breaking and entering into the lair of the Mac attack, they find unsettling proof that Mackey was indeed the Cape May Slayer. Poor Davey doesn't get to enjoy his status as hero for long, as before he can say, "I told you so," to everyone. Well, if you haven't seen this movie, I suggest that you turn this off as I detail the insane last 15 minutes of this film. It is wild. As the search for Officer Mackey is called off, Davey has his friend Woody over for the evening, and what a worse time to have a slumber party, as Mackey shockingly reveals that he was hiding in Davey's house the whole time, and he abducts both boys to teach them a lesson about pursuing serial killers. Brace yourself for a more brutal version of Manhunt as Mackey chases the boys in the woods for the thrill of the hunt, and Davey regrets ever spying on his murderous cop-for neighbor as his friend Woody is viciously murdered. It's pretty awful, and so is what follows. Mackey tells Davey he's not going to join his friend right now. That's too easy. Instead, he's going to be watched forever. Well, until Return of the Mac decides to finally end him after allowing him to live a life of fear and uncertainty. And we end the movie on that dark-ass note. Good luck, Davey. Act 3 like is a violent thrust into darker content. The whole movie had an air of lightheartedness around it, but we went from PG-13 to not rated real quick. And that was a genius ploy to keep our guards down the whole time until we got to this bleak-ass ending. The last 15 minutes were unexpectedly dark. I can say I was genuinely shocked at both how vicious it became and how disturbing of an ending that was, especially compared to how we started the film. The third act was filled with fear and confusion, and I was a big fan of the reveal. Well, both of them. Nothing to complain about for this third act, but I have so much to talk about for the movie overall. This is like Disturbia mixed with Stranger Things, but replace the Upside Down with the serial killer dubbed the Cape May Slayer. The characters, nostalgia, music, scares, charm, thrills. This movie is unfairly not given enough shine. Just brilliant. It went from a feel-good 80s teen horror movie to holy shit! That was a barbaric ending. Great cast and performances from everybody, but some noticeable standouts, maybe you saw them. Eats, one of Davey's friends, he is Cole in The Babysitter, and Officer Mackey, forgive me, I should have looked up his name, my fault, but you can see him stalking Pam Beesly in The Office Season 5 later on. Psst! This part wasn't written down. I didn't script this out because I forgot to. However, I want to mention my Nikki theory, which is at first I thought that Officer Mackey was a red herring the whole time. I thought the beautiful Nikki was actually the killer because she was showing up at where the boys were investigating, and all of a sudden her love interest in Davey just seemed too good to be true. Obviously I was wrong, but watch the movie again with that theory in mind. It's kind of fun to see how it plays out. Summer of '84 is a terrific coming-of-age whodunit slasher. It is scary, funny, and nostalgic as fuck. Add this to your horror essentials. And that's it for today's episode of Tar, and one of my favorites that has come out over the past few years. Put Summer of '84 on your must-watch list. It has been an absolute pleasure. Please subscribe, like, comment, and tell some friends to do the exact same things, please. My name is Gilbert Ybarra. Thank you so much for watching the Addict Review. Smile, Tiger.